where we build PC cases using cardboard. I am doing the corrosion job, first layer for my cyberpunk PC, cardboard PC. We're using a... Man, can you keep your toys over there without me killing something on your stuff, man? I wonder if this toy is somewhere somehow. Anyway, we're doing a dry brush paint job. Let me see. Look at this out of the way. Oh. So what I thought I'd do with this one was we coat it all back in black again. And then we go back over it. I want to do a light blue base as the foundation. And then we're going to use a dry, of course, a dry roller. And we're going to basically pad the rest of the colors in because we want them to blend. If we use a brush, it's not going to pad them well. We're going to use the first coat. It's going to be a nice neon blue. And the rest of it's going to have a kind of a speckle neon pink, yellow, and so forth to get the colors to pop just right. I'll work over on this section right here. I have neon lights. The neon lights I have to put on here all have to be individual within themselves. We can't have like all blue and green. We're going to have special lights for this one, so they have to be cut, sliced, put switches on them the whole 9 yards. So a lot of slicing and dicing. And when you put in the caulking, you allow to give it some depth to it, a rough edge surface to it. When you use dry brush, you're just coating the very top parts of it, which give it a nice detailed look to it. Let's see, watch it. And then going back over it again, gives it that worn out look. It works when your brush is dry. Excuse me, you know it's coming. Let me pick this up. I hit that 3 times already. It's more blue. Definitely more blue. Definitely blue. Let me see. Turn that over on this side. I'm gonna call it a fan brush. I gotta pick one of those up. That's a perfect brush for just picking up those light edges. You don't want to basically paint it, you want to just dry brush it, but I'm trying to fan this out as much as I possibly can, but I think I need to go pick up a fan brush. That's much better for doing dry painting, dry brush painting. Comes out much better. Nice. Oh, this side. Where's one's on this side? Yeah. Now what we're going to do is when we're done all that, the paint job and everything, we're going to design our own activator, which is going to let all this to basically just magnifying the color. And that'll be our next stage after that. First, we got to put down foundation to the corrosion. And then after we put down the foundation, we can put in the multiple transformations from the corrosion, which is the multiple colors we're going to add in there. Taco, I see you, right? In my peripheral vision, right? Are you where you think you are? Where I think you are, in the wrong place. Because if I were to back up, I would have hit you. And you also bumped the camera stand. This Joker. There he invaded my space. Crazy human. Yeah, but you liking the new whatchamacallits you got? You got the new treats. You got some new treats today. Liking them treats? Something different. Now we just go back over top of it. Keep brushing it. The whole thing of dry brushing is basically not allowing you to have a lot of paint on your brush. Less is always more. And for me, I'm not really trying to touch the surface. I'm just trying to lightly brush it. I was looking at people that do it on all different their own furniture to give that furniture a worn out look to it. Pretty nice. They call it the art of dry brushing. I'm really into it. I like it. Giving things a kind of a worn out kind of corrosion look to it. I like things that time has taken the time to restructure. The environment, even if it's overgrown with weeds and flowers and stuff like that. I like that. That's beautiful art. That's why people take pictures of abandoned buildings and stuff like that. And at first I didn't see it. Now I kind of understand it. I kind of like that how time has taken its time to pretty much just age something. It's beautiful. One of the things I did like, I liked when I played Far Cry. I like in that DOC they made after the nuclear fallout. You just saw just beautiful flowers just cascading over the entire environment. Bent steel, and you've seen areas that were decayed, but others was just this mass beautiful of flowers just blanketed over everything. I thought it was really beautiful. So kind of fell in love with that part. You have some jacked up wildlife waiting for you in the end, but still beautiful. There's a beautiness about time. That's why it's always best to grow old naturally. Don't mess with the process. You know, people who get the plastic surgery and Botox. I mean, I can see if you get plastic surgery in a horrible car accident, you got disfigured pretty bad. I can see about that. But there's some people that just go way too far with it, and I don't know if they notice, but they look like circus freaks. There's one called Addicted to something. I forgot. Plastic. I think it's Addicted to Plastic is what it is. My goodness. They're like circus freaks. And then little Kim, she don't even look real. She doesn't. There's nothing about her that looks even real at all, period. She was a very beautiful woman at one point. She was very beautiful. Mess around with that Botox and eye surgery and oh my goodness, a freaking lip injection. Like, what is going on? These people get those huge, humongous lips and they think it looks beautiful. And like, oh my goodness, the reality check is unbelievable. Denial. There's a perfect example as in denial. If you were to look it up in the dictionary, what it means. Now, I don't know if they know at the end of the day that they do look like that and they don't care because maybe they're getting a lot of views and they're making money off of it. I mean, it could be that. I don't know, but either way, why would you mess your body up? You only get one. Once you wreck it, you wreck it. And I think what a lot of people don't see behind closed doors is the pain that comes with that. Because as your body starts to change, how does your body break? It breaks itself down as you start to age, but how would that work if you have something there that doesn't break down along with your body? That has got to cause pain. So a lot of people don't see that behind closed doors of that pain that they go through. They just see them up there just smiling, grinning up. They're like, yeah, the best decision I ever made in my entire life. Behind closed doors, like, what the freak was I thinking? Don't mess with the body that way. Michael Jackson, God rest his soul, had so many surgeries. It's not even funny. At one point, his nose fell off. So just leave it be. But you know what it is? It comes with that trying to stay young forever, trying to keep that youthful look, you know. That's why they do that surgery, worrying about what people think, you know, stuff like that. Tom Cruise, you can see, got no way in the world he's going to look like he did in Risky Business. He was a kid. There's no way in the world. They get that plastic surgery, man. It's like 24-hour fright night. I couldn't be a person who basically interviews these people. I'd just be staring at them like, what the freak just came on my stage? I warn you ahead of time, like, look, I know a person that speaks your mind at the end of the day, but you might want to tone it on this one, because, yeah, it's going to be weird. Just try to keep it together. I'm pretty sure they have, like, prep meetings before they go to meet these people. Because they just go way too far with it. And you can see it, especially around their eyes. So there's no way in the world you're looking all of freaking 70 years old and your eye ducts are that tight. There's no way in the world. And my personal favorites will always be my favorite as long as I live. The hair color. The hair color will always be my favorite. You can see them. They look just like the guy with the Quaker oatmeal box, but the hair be super, super dark. Like, who are you fooling with that? But then you got some stars out there that do age gracefully. They do. The guy who does Captain Picard, the Star Trek, I can't think of his name. It's George Papard, what is his name? I can't remember think of his name. But anyway, yeah. He rocks that hairstyle, man. He rocks. There's certain people can get away with that type of hairstyle. They can. Taco. Literally see you constantly creeping underneath of me to try to look. Creeping underneath to get on camera. I told you he likes to be on camera. He's a photo bomber. He will bomb anything that has a camera posted in front. I bring him over to the family get together. You whip out a camera, he is somewhere in every single shot. It's crazy. He likes to be on camera. And then when I put him on camera, what does he do? He shuts his eyes. He doesn't want to be bothered with at all or detected. That's what he does. Get the camera right in his face. Taco. Taco. You good? You on camera now? You happy? Oh, now he's enjoying it. Look at him. Look. Let's go show off. Gonna roll over? Yeah! There we go. Upside down furry face. You like to be on camera, don't you? You're a camera cat. I know you. Look at you. Showing off. Look at you. Look at you. Look at you. How dare you show? He needs the limelight all of them. So it's got to be about me all the time. 24/7. All about Taco. Taco's a mess. Gee whiz. Enjoy your seafood platter. Super Bowl seafood platter. Told you my people were getting this Super Bowl. He got him this platter again. I'm like, you know he's not going to eat half this stuff, right? I'm talking about her aunts and uncles, and now they got a big old German Shepherd. And German Shepherd was a puppy. He was just a little too rowdy for Taco. Had to wait for him to calm down a little bit, get a little older, because Taco just looking at him like, okay, buddy, I'm going to warn you one time. You get over here with all that slobber and everything, I'll have to jack you up. And Taco wouldn't hurt him. Taco just pretty much would just sniff him, but keep his distance from him. He wouldn't hurt him. I'm glad of that. But anyway, yeah, now they lay together. They lay together all the time to bring them. They're laying together, playing, running about, and having fun, which I'm glad, because hope you don't start thinking you're a dog at the end of the day. Somebody comes to the door, you got a little security guard hat. I'm like, who you? But anyway, yeah, so all this right here, building out of cardboard, as I said before, ultimate modding is basically building your own cases, but the ultimate modding is no boxes. You have to build the boxes themselves, and that's what we're going to do. My next stage, I'm going to build me a PC from scratch, just cardboard, period. So, I'm doing it strictly that way. Now, we've had some people that are very discouraged about what I'm doing here. It bothers them. I don't know why, but it just does. It's just weird like that. And they try to report me. Let me explain something to you. I know people work at the post office. I run a company. I go in and out of the post office all the time. They see my face all the time because I'm in there all the time. And guess what I'm building for them? They like the idea. As long as I'm not going out and transporting things in those boxes that are not supposed to be, then I'm good. You don't know the law. You don't know how things work. When you talk like that, you sound like idiots. When you post at the bottom of my comments, you sound like an idiot. All right? So just so you know, no. Just like a $20 bill, if I take a $20 bill and I draw on it, I can't go to jail for that. You can look it up for yourself. I can basically color it in, whatever I want to, put some pretty artwork on it. You can't go to jail for that. What you can go to jail for, if you disguise a 10 to look like a 20 and you try to spend it, now it becomes a felony. It's just the thing, people who don't crack books don't know their rights. You got to know your rights. You got to know. Because if you don't, at the end of the day, some officer pull you over, and if he's having a bad day, guess who has a bad day? You will. You'll have a really bad day. Unless you know your rights. And you better know what you're talking about. So, yeah, know your rights. I read and I research a lot of stuff. I've got this fascination with the ocean now. It just seems like a very... I'm now talking to some other people, and I got a better understanding about the whole having a city underwater, and now I see the complex of it all. Because I thought it would be easy because you can just build it, but then you have to worry about the pressure. The pressure of basically the city imploding, how to get supplies in and out, because again, certain meters, you can't basically have certain submarines. Submersible submarines, yeah, you can make them all submersible, which would be nice, but you're not putting much on a submersible. It's not a big sub. It's not designed for carrying large amounts of cargo, so that's not going to work. I mean, these things are only manned like 2 to 3 people. What are you putting in a sub at 2 to 3 people? Nothing. So that's not going to work. So then if you have an area where you're not going to have major serious storms, storms can disrupt things. At the end of the day, it can cause things to shift around. It can cause a lot of damage. And you're on the water where you're going to have constant motion all the time. So that could cause damage. Yeah, so there's a lot of stuff you got to really think about. I didn't think about half of that stuff in here. So then it comes the meter system on figuring exactly where and how many meters would be the sweet spot to build a city. It can't be too far under. It can't be too high up. What would be the sweet spot for it? So, yeah. I'm looking at different types of storms, like hurricanes, things like that, disrupt. How far do they travel under? When you see like a hurricane pushing up on water, or, hurricane pushing on water, how far does that penetrate? How many meters does that actually hit? Because submarines can basically dodge that. We talked about cities in the air. Now, get away from the stand, please, because you're doing too much. Cities in the air would be an issue. You would have to have it in an airspace where airplanes are not going to be in it. You're smacking into that thing. Another problem, you're going to have storms. What part of the atmosphere where storms are going to trigger? You see people go above the storm and they fly. Sometimes they can go above it. I mean, how far do storms actually travel up? Because that could also be an issue. How to power a city that's going to be constantly levitating in the air. I looked up just about everything I could possibly think of. The only thing I could find was fusion nuclear energy. It's the only thing that'll do it. You're a jerk, Taco. By the way. You're definitely a jerk. Could have buried that, but you didn't because you're a jerk. We just came back from Bed Bath & Beyond and got my plugins, and now we got the whole office smelling like watermelon because now I got this watermelon kick. This stuff right here is amazing, but I got the plugins right now, and they're freaking amazing. Thank goodness. This jerk at the end of the day does some stuff, gets on my nerves sometimes. Anyway, Taco does stuff when he doesn't get his way. When he can't be on camera 24/7, when the camera's on him, he gets mad. But anyway, yeah, the levitating city, it's possible But I mean, airspace is always covered by something. You know what I mean? I can't think of. There's probably areas where you can't fly a plane, but if you can't fly a plane there, I don't think you want to build a city there. So it's kind of interesting. It can be done. I looked at something now. You know, nuclear fusion and nuclear fusion and a nuclear reactor are two different things. They both disperse radiation, but one actually disperses radiation much less than the other. But how long could it last? It's about 1,000,000 years, almost about a couple million years, something like 200 something million years. It's a lot, like 25. I think it's 25 million. I gotta look at 25 million years on how long that city can levitate off that kind of power. Because there's no other way to do it. There's just no other way. You can't do it solar. That's virtually impossible. You know, the sun's got to go out sooner or later. Can't charge things when the sun's not out. And if you're talking about a battery backup system, it does get cold up there. On top of that, the higher you go up, the thinner the air gets. So you have people passing out left and right. So that's going to become an issue. Yeah, it's interesting. So unless you put it in a dome, that's pretty much what you're probably going to have to do, is stick it in a dome. But it's just interesting to think other places that you can live at besides, you know, being here on land. I think that's the reason why people get houseboats, because they want something different. I can understand that. But it's just crazy. Something to think about. Underwater would be nice, but there's just so many different obstacles in that, and they are right. The building materials, we do have the building materials to do it. It's just figuring exactly how many meters you would have to put this thing at. Because again, at 800 meters, you don't see jack. This is why when you watch shows about shoes, but the little things that come out about scuba divers, and you constantly see that flashlight blaring in the front of them, because they can't see nothing down there. 800 meters because it's dark. There's no light in the ocean. It's only light in the ocean by certain depths. So you're at 200 meters, you're seeing some of that light coming through the sunlight that's hitting the water. Now, another interesting theory too. What about large creatures in the water? Now, I told you before, we only discovered 5%. 5% of the ocean is explored. So you have 95%. That's a huge chunk. And we're not talking about a small ocean. We're talking about the entire world's ocean. So consider the fact in different countries, they have different types of life that live in these different depths of the ocean. Let's say roughly about 20,000 meters under the ocean, which you do have subs that can go that far. I think it's 35. And roughly, I'm giving you roundabout numbers, but not actually the numbers accurate themselves. But anyway, so the question is, what if one of these things that are sitting around the ocean at the very bottom, somewhere between 50, 60 feet long, eel that may be sitting at the bottom of the ocean, deep, deep, deep down the ocean. What's the odds of one of them popping up at 200 meters? They can't. It's virtually impossible. You know why? Yeah, God thought of everything. Because, man, I would have never thought about that. So basically, they can only live within their habitat, which means that the pressure of that water, the food source, everything in that ecosystem means it basically guarantees their survival. Anything outside of that shortens that survival. So if they were to basically descend to certain meters, they basically would have complications within themselves, which makes it easy for them to exist. They can't travel past certain meters, which means they're stuck within their own environments. The only way you would be able to experience seeing one of these things, you would have to go down there to see it. They can't come up here. Look it up. Fish, certain species, are basically subjected and stuck to their own environments. That's like taking a fish out of water. You take a fish out of water, you put it on land, what happens? It dies. It's what do you call it? It's ecosystem. It's out of the ecosystem. You take a tiger, you stick it under the ocean, it's going to drown. Can't survive there. They have to stay where they have to survive. This is why, you notice, if you see an animal population, you'll have a sign that says, hey, there's tigers within this area right here, because that's where tigers are going to breed, that's where they're going to live, that's where their food source is going to be at, that's where we're going to be at. You're not going to find a tiger at the top of a mountain somewhere, because they'll never be up there. Because you know why? They can't survive up there. It's not made for them. So they have to be in the environment. Now, you might find a billy goat up there, because they're designed to be up there. There you go. So God thought of everything. You learn that all the animals are put within their place. And this is the reason why they tell you from the door, don't bring things over. Because when you bring stuff over, they end up in the wrong ecosystem. And if they're wrong in the wrong ecosystem, they learn to survive, which they call them betas. Because what happens is, say you bring over a spider, right? And this spider basically lays eggs. Now, the spider's going to die because it's not designed to be able to live in that environment. But the betas, which means the babies, are basically going to learn to survive. They're going to be able to adapt in both heat and cold at the same time. And now, therefore, you have a new spider introduced to the ecosystem that could wreak havoc. That's why they allow you to bring over certain animals and kinds of stuff. You know what I mean? Get a lot of trouble. You know, environmentalists and so that get involved. I'm like, what the freak just bring that over for? It's not supposed to be here. Yeah, they learn to adapt, which you're not supposed to be there to begin with. Yep. But that's the whole theory about why you don't see sea monsters, giant fish, which it wouldn't really be a sea monster. Technically, it'd just be a giant fish you're not used to seeing. That's all it is. That's all you're really seeing. You're not really seeing a sea monster. Just something you're not used to seeing. If you never saw a whale a day in your life, what would you call it? If you're down there swimming in the water, you see this giant animal coming towards you, you call it a sea monster. That's all. And, you know, back then, if it did exist, I say dragons exist back then. It wasn't called a monster. It's a dragon. It's a large creature, wings, scales, breathes fire. It's a dragon. Unfortunately, some of them talked, but they're not real. Fiction. But if they did, they'd be jacked up. They'd be real jacked up. Couldn't do much flying in the air. Yeah, that'd be some combat. Because mine, you got something that's designed to fly in the air at tremendous speeds at the top of that, and you can think you're gonna try to take that out. That's gonna be a bit of an issue. It's gonna be interesting, but a bit of an issue. Like you ever saw the movie called what's it called? Oh my goodness, I can't think of the name of it now. I always talk about that movie all the time. Basically, you know, it started off in England. Rain of Fire. That's what it is. Where they woke them up. Apparently, these dragons have been here for centuries. They've been here for centuries, and you know, people looked at them as myths and storytellings about these dragons, but these dragons were actually real. And they were in UK doing some mining, and they woke one up. And man, when that thing woke up, man, it was not friendly. It just torched the entire coal mining where they were mining it. Just torched everything. And then it spoke about, the guy was talking about it, how they tried to wipe them out. They tried to kill them. They couldn't figure out how they were multiplying so fast. Find out that one passing over another could basically impregnate. That's why they're multiplying so quick. And they tried everything. They couldn't take them out. And then they used the last thing they had. Last resort was nuclear war. Launched some bombs, and even that didn't take them out. So, yep. Which, not real. Ooh. Wait a minute. I kind of find that hard to kind of process at the end of the day, because you look at the medieval times. Let's just say way off fiction here, because none of this is real. In medieval times, they didn't have anywhere near the firepower we have today. Our firepower is unbelievable compared to medieval. And they had knights that took out dragons. Didn't wipe out their population. I think we could do it easily. We got enough fire. We got firepower to take out easy dragons. Easy. Armor. The weapons we designed. Oh, please. I think they basically, yeah. What are you guys using? Slingshots? Because we could easily take that out. Come on, man. We got heat. Oh, I forgot the cold-blooded animals, so the heat signatures wouldn't even pick up on them. We got other stuff that'll take them out. Interesting. Now, see, this is the reason why I can never be bored. Because literally, These are debates that literally pop up in my head 24/7. Like these crazy debates will pop up in my head. I'm like, well, why that's not possible? Why you can't do that? And I'd be like, oh yeah, I gotta look this up. And I'm spending hours about basically how come we couldn't take our dragons with the firepower we had today compared to back then where they just had bow and arrows and crossbows and they're ready to take them out easily. Get one guy with a suit of armor and some enchanted weapons and he's taking one out. So yeah. You got to get it between those chest plates. That's when the weakness comes. When he basically starts to breathing that gas. They make their own gas, I think, for that fire they push out. Got to get him when he's basically inhaling. The chest plates separate and just yeah. But you got to get underneath that sucker. You got to be close up on top of him to do it. But now today we don't got close to anybody. Today we have firepower. We don't need that. Get an M1 tank out there, easy. Put a infrared on him, and basically he's going to have to pull up all that heat. It's definitely going to glow. Or get someone close enough to him with one of those rockets. They put those signatures on them. Yeah, that'd be interesting. Somebody make a movie about that. I want to see that happen. I want to see a new version of Rain of Fire, and I want to see it basically. We have the military weapons to get it done. All right, let me get this thing done. So yeah, this is the kind of stuff that dawns into my head. Stuff that I think about. Why this and why that? Why can't you do this and why can't you do that? And then try to break it down and figure it all out. Is it possible? And go online and look at some crazy stuff saying, can you do this? Can you do that? Did you ever look at how they made kitchens back in the 1950s compared to the kitchens we have today? Man, y'all got to bring some of that stuff back. I'm like, what the freak? Y'all had that? These are like modern kitchens that they designed in the 1950s or put the kitchens we have today to shame. Now, of course, the technology-wise we have is insane. But the mechanics that went behind the building some of this stuff that they designed was absolutely amazing. What happened to this stuff? Got to bring some of that stuff back. Pretty cool kitchen setups. Sometimes on Facebook, in between they have those little videos that pop up in there. And I'm like, wow, that's a pretty cool idea. And truthfully, to tell you the truth, a refrigerator from the 1950s and 60s and up lasts a lot longer than the refrigerators today. Frigidaire, the old refrigerators, still lasting. The new fridges they make today don't last for jack. They really don't. Always got some kind of technical problem because they make them too space age now. Always something going wrong with them. Some light flashing on the side of your refrigerator. Cost you a ton of money. A headache to get out of there. But then if it breaks down. And then they want to make them with the internet. Like I really need a window inside my refrigerator to tell what's inside my refrigerator. I can just open the door and figure that one out. Mystery solved. What's that luxury? Or the Wi-Fi refrigerator that tells you when you need to order. Oh God, how lazy are we getting? Like really? Got to think about that for a minute. You literally need a refrigerator to tell you at the end of the day that you are out of eggs. That's pretty sad. I saw that, I was like, there's no way in the world I'm paying for that. $20,000 for a refrigerator to tell me I'm out of freaking eggs. I can just open up the door. Mystery solved. There we go. Quest achieved. But that's all for show, That's all for show. Like people have Viking ovens. You got a $100,000 oven in your home and you don't even cook. You don't bake, you don't do nothing. You've seen people like that have them gourmet kitchens. They're never in there. It's mostly for show. You can tell if something's been at that kitchen. If someone was cooking that kitchen, you could tell. You can tell that they've been putting those appliances to work. You can tell. And if they clean it up nicely, you can still tell they've been putting it to work. You go on everything like it's brand new. Like, what, you just put this kitchen in? No, we've had this for years. For years. Do you cook in here? Oh heck no. I hate cooking. What the frick would you spend $100,000 for a freaking Viking? I wouldn't even. For me, I like the conventional. I like the not conventional. The I gotta get some more. I'm out. I like the air fryer ovens, but all in all, truthfully, barbecue pit. Barbecue pit. You can cook everything on a barbecue pit. Everything. Everything. You can build your own barbecue pit. It's not hard to build a nice barbecue pit. Man, it's a nice cast iron. Get some good cement, basically. You know what I mean? It's not really hard to stack bricks together. And basically, I mean, people who do it for a living, the professionals in the day, yeah, what they do, professional, yeah. But just for beginners, it's not really that hard to do, to tell you the truth. You know? And basically, build your own customized barbecue pit, man. I would put some nice slabs of cast iron on there for cooking my eggs and pancakes and all that stuff. Get one that's like a little box. Give somebody, my buddy that's welding, get one to make a little box for me that I can slide one in and basically use that for baking stuff, man. I put everything out there, man. Everything out there. If man loves a barbecue, a woman likes the barbecue too at the end of the day. They like the barbecue. They put everything out there. Oh heck, let's barbecue. Let's barbecue. Let's barbecue. Why are we gonna eat inside? This is boring. I don't go to a restaurant. It's a barbecue. Yeah. Put some of that corn out there. Shish kebabs, all that good stuff. And we're gonna need more. I gotta put an order in for more. Because we need to basically get this blue done. If we can put any colors in there, we gotta get that blue done. That foundation for the blue got to be in. Let's go back over with our brush. Alright, I'm out. I'm gonna order me a bunch of blue right now because I need it to finish the foundation job on this. That's the first stage, people. And then after that, it starts to come to life. So should we do a little plant life around it? For our cyberpunk corrosion. I think we should do a little plant life. I've seen some, I don't want to do a lot, I want a little bit. I've seen some nice little plants they have over there. I don't want flowers, I want just every green vines, that's what I want. I wanted to run around the motors here and here. I want some overlife plant life on these motors and stuff. So we're going to paint those different colors to glow. So I want those definitely to glow. So, guess I'm going to be taking a road trip in a few minutes. I'm going to pop over to Family Dollar and see if I can get some vines for this thing. I want this. I definitely want some overgrown vines, just slightly in the corner, but I want more of the growth here, lightly. All right, let's go. We gotta go pick up some vines and stuff. I'm gonna put this back here so we can get this all cleaned up. Let's try to check something out real quick. It's freaking icy. Not icy so much, but it's like, yeah, it's icy. Just call it what it is. Go outside and become a professional figure skater in about a couple minutes. And where am I putting you at? I guess I'll put you back in here. Now, the next stage is we're going to have to get those activators put in. That activator allows for everything to push through, because it makes it much brighter. So all this stuff has activator. The wires and stuff all have it in it. So everything glows nicely. Oopsie. And that's the blue neon right there that we just put on. Now inside those fans, we're going to put a little brush of pink in there too. Matter of fact, I can do that now because I got the pink. I'm going to show you what that looks like. It's a really, really cool effect. I'm just going to put that light on for you to show you that right there. But I think we'll run some pink in there, so I'm going to show you this real quick. You'll like this. And what I want to do with this is I'm definitely going to do some neon. We're going to do a neon light sign over top of it. We got power supply going here. We make the power supply look like a duct system, like an air conditioner unit. It's going to have ducts that are going to come out of here and here. But here we're going to put a billboard. Thin billboard here with some of the cyberpunk artwork on it, which we're going to basically individual paint the artwork over again with paints that match the color and glow in the dark. Put some signs at the bottom and top. These all have LED lights running all through it. So it's going to have all the neon effect, but it's going to have that, it's going to be like a kind of an old kind of corrosion look to it. So it's going to be pretty interesting. Now, who would be in a building like this at the end of the day? Well, people that don't want to be detected. Pretty much all your cyber gangsters and whatever you want to think at the end of the day, they hide out in this building. Because no one would think of it. People look by, it's overgrown and everything whatsoever. Your programmers, all that stuff, they're in this building right here. So this window right here, this comes off. It's only up there with tape right now, but that comes off. I'm going to put a cyber apartment in there. I'm going to light that up so you can see inside of there. It's going to be pretty cool. So I'm going to do some pretty cool stuff with this. But let's get some neon, some pink neon in here on our blades. I want to try to find me a fan brush too. One of my favorite colors is neon pink. I like neon pink. If we get some on the fan, it's gonna make a difference. It really doesn't. Really doesn't make a difference. Doesn't have to be neat. This is all about chaos. All about chaos. I kind of understand now. I'll tell you what I understand now. My mom's was a painter, oil-based paint. That's what she was into. And she had all these little paintbrushes. Now me, I only know one paintbrush, and that's a big wide one, and that's basically about it. I have no idea what the rest of those paintbrushes are for. She's telling me each one of them serves a purpose and what it's designed to do. I didn't understand it. Now I understand what they're used for. Because, again, it comes in handy for each one. Especially when you have to do that detail work. And you can only use the tip of the brush. That's all it's going to work. I think if I do get into a class of teaching youth at the end of the day, I'm going to teach them how to build computers. That's what I'm going to do. Teach them how to build, program, and mod PCs. Console gamers just sit there and get mad at me about that one. Go, well, why would how are you going to teach them how to build a console? How would that freaking even work? Again, reality check, please. No. I told you what's going to happen. You don't believe me? Watch it happen. Watch it happen. You're about to hit full circle pretty soon. Do you know I read something pretty soon that 16 gigabytes ain't going to be enough for gaming? It's not. 32 is going to be a requirement. So how's that going to work out for you? Just say one day they just decide that, hey, 16 gigs ain't working no more. Got to have 32. How's it going to work out for you if your console system only has 16? How are you changing that one out then today? You know what you're going to have to do? Well, they can't send every system back to Sony or Xbox or Microsoft and change it out. That'll take way too long. Too many people got those systems. So that means now they're going to have to build a whole new system with the 20 gigs in it. So you can play with 20 gigs, which means you literally just bought a whole entire new system just for freaking 32 gigs. Or 20. Either way. That's pretty much what happens. Because, you know, the reason why the architecture structure is different in the game from the previous one, because the games now require those particular parts in order to run properly. So instead of you being able to pull out a part and swap it out, which you can, you literally have to buy a whole new console system that's designed for today's games. Did you ever realize that? Yep, I realized that a long time ago. I was like, wait a minute, I can't just swap out the part that I just need. So just for instance, let's say today, they make an announcement that the games being designed today for future games for 2025 are going to require 32 gigs of RAM. How would you fix that on your system? And keep in mind that RAM and hard drive are two different things and not the same. So, yeah, how would you be to do that? If you take out your M2 and you put in 8, that does not change your RAM. One is your memory, for your system's memory. The reason why, if you basically have something like 20, 30 pages open up and your system can't handle it, it'll automatically start shutting your pages down. It won't allow you to open up certain pages because you don't have enough memory to open up. I went through that crap already with that machine over there. I could not. I was like, what the freak? Oh, yeah, we had to do it at 8 at one point. I remember it used to be 8. It used to be 8. There are people get mad at me over that. But look, okay, look. You got to accept it. All right? I got mad when they were no longer supporting the original Xbox, and I was forced to buy a 360. Yeah, I was forced to buy a 360. I was happy with my Xbox, but they stopped supporting it. So guess what I had to do? I had to go out and I had to buy a 360, and I paid more money for it. But the 360 was better because the 360 had a much more bigger hard drive. The graphics were much better. The graphics on an Xbox were 480p, and the hard drive on them were 10 gigabytes. 10 gigabytes, but that's all you needed at the time for that particular game, for that setup. But now the new games were just going to be taking way more, and you just needed much more to run them. So who decides how high your specifications have to be in order for you to run certain games? It'll be from PC, because that's where your games are being designed from. They're being designed from PC. Now for ours, the specifications for us, we have two different versions. We have the minimum requirement and we have ultra, which means you can run it at the settings that everybody else runs at, or you can run at them particular special settings that people are on that want more power. And, you know, just to tell you that, for instance, like, okay, if you want to overclock your RAM, can you do that? You can't. PCs can only overclock. No. I take it back. I've seen someone overclock a console system. I literally saw someone do that. A friend did it. He overclocked. He overclocked the PS4. So you can't overclock those things. But then you're talking about a lot of stress on the system, because that is a lot of stress on your system. So you're going to have a way to keep it cool for that stress level, because it's going to generate heat like crazy. So you're going to have to figure a way how to basically calm down that stress level. Or you're going to have burnout issues. That's what you're going to be going through. Your system's going to overheat. It's going to malfunction. Now, you could modify it. You could do that easy. You can modify the daylights out of those systems. As long as that motherboard is showing those 4 ports, those holes, or ports you want to call them. As long as it's showing that, you can liquid cool the daylights out of it. Yep. Of course, you'll be boring your warranty, but who cares? You know, that'll be for an adult at the end of the day that will be doing that. A kid does that, his mom will kill him, because she's the one that paid for it. So that's not going to go well there. Unless you can convince, like, hey, say maybe you're a kid at the end of the day that builds computers, right? Your mom knows you're a little smarter. You build computers, you do modifications, all that stuff. You can get away with it. You know why? Because they know what you do from the door. You can back up at the end of the day. Oh, yeah, Johnny could do that. Yeah, he builds computers all day long. Like, he fixed our computer. At the end, we didn't even know how to work. He fixed it. He showed us how to work it. There you go. You got free pass. Then there for the time I went to go pick up my Xbox 360. The guy was like, sir, do you want a warranty? I was like, no, I don't need a warranty. I'm going to mod the daylights out of this. Look on his face. I'm going to take this whole thing apart. I'm going to mod the daylights out of it. And that's what I did. When I got it back to the room I was running, I already went out and picked out the tools on how to open up one of them. Yeah, I took that thing apart. Took it out of the case. Got one of the UFO cases. Took that whole thing apart and rewired it. Had LED lights in there, cooling system, all that stuff, man. Put this huge massive skull on the interface of it. You can vegetable cool them too. Well, interesting, and I got to try this theory myself. You can vegetable cool the PlayStation. Now you won't get access to that memory stick. You won't be getting access to that. Now, when you did vegetable cooling, you couldn't do the hard drives. You could never do the hard drives, and the reason why is because the hard drives took a disk. That disk constantly speed. That's how it's reading your memory. If that disk stops reading, you don't have any more memory. If nothing works, you're going to get a blue screen. It's going to pop up and say, hey, look, this is not working correctly. Now, my theory is, looking at the new M2 sticks, they don't have the disk, which makes them submersible. They're like any other microchip that you stick on the vegetable oil will still function. So they can be submerged under vegetable oil, which means you can submerge a PS5 or an Xbox under vegetable oil. Only thing about it is you will not be retrieving that back. Now, there's solutions that you can put on it to clean up the oil and stuff, but quite frankly, it never does work the same way. I've had bad experiences with it. Maybe some people have better experiences than me. But yeah. That's what comes down to that one. But yeah, you can submerge that. But you got to remember, anytime you submerge it, you're going to have to put a liquid cooling system on the CPU, because if you don't, you're going to cook your system, and you will cook it. I know. The first PC I ever did on the vegetable oil, I went out and went to the thrift store, and I got myself a Pentium 4 Hyperthread and did that one. And yeah, I cooked it. I cooked it good. What you cooking, Mr. Bird? I'm cooking some fried PC parts. Ain't nothing like some fried PC parts. Nothing like them in the world. You gotta cool them down. See, the problem you have is that when you're doing fans, your fans ain't gonna run. This is not gonna happen. They're running for the first week or so, and then after a while they stop. Even the ones inside your PC are just all gonna stop. And you're just gonna get pretty lights. That's all you're gonna see. It's not really gonna disrupt anything. nothing's really going to happen. Like if you take a fan and you stop it, it starts to smoke after a while. But this won't happen because it's on the vegetable. How's it going to smoke? It's not going to catch on fire or anything. It's just going to cease to keep moving. So when you're using vegetable oil, the heat has to go somewhere. So that CPO is heating up like crazy, and that heat is just basically circulating all around in that vegetable oil and got nowhere to go but in the vegetable oil. And that vegetable oil heats up really quick because you know what it's made for, right? It's made for frying stuff, and you got heat dispersing inside of a case but nowhere to go. And guess what happens? Your stuff starts to bubble a little bit, which means, aka, you have cooked your freaking PC. And I've done that one already. Now, if you do that'd be a great experiment with that too. We're building a high performance box for liquid cooled PCs. We're going to do the whole inside with an aluminum setup. But I had this idea about basically taking a tank and taking the copper block from the that'd be a good experiment. Taking the copper block from a liquid cooling system, putting it on that modified system we have over here for that, with the big fans on it. The fans actually push up air, the modified liquid cooling, the freezer box, and take that system and stick it on top of a I gotta show you, because that would be perfect. See what happens? Okay, so bear in line, just get that, scatter things about, my brain is moving somewhere else, is that the oil has no place to go. All right, the heat has nowhere to go. It's trapped in the oil. You have to figure a way how to cool the CPU and keep the oil at normal temperature, which that can cause liquid cooling systems to do that. The liquid coolings draw all that heat, and they will operate under vegetable oil perfectly. You just can't have the fan in there because the fan will stop working. The fan has to be up here, and the liquid cooling system has to be down there. And you do the same thing with the fans. You have a fan here in the front, a fan here in the back. Fans in the back have higher RPMs. And then you want to boost the RPMs, you get something called a fan speed controller, which speeds up the RPMs, which makes the radiator cool down even faster. But the system I wanted to build was a box system, which the box is here. And in the box, we're going to line all of it with that silver aluminum, which actually drops temperature. We're going to put those high power fans from here and here, and we're going to silicone it. So basically, there's no air. The air's coming out, but there's no room for any room temperature air to push in. We need to be completely sealed within that box area. So we need that temperature to drop. And that's going to be hooked up to the radiator system. Radiator system is going to have fans in the front, which are going to take out for those icy mint ones, which are much higher. We're going to have ones in the middle, and then we're going to have the box system here, and then another fans on the outside. That'll keep it nice and cool. But as for running it under vegetable oil and keeping it nice and cool, this is what we're going to need. Let's find it. Here we go. So this system right here, this is made for a Dell. This is a copper block cooling system for Dell for the CPU. As you can see, we got the 4 pins right here. This is where your CPU would sit. This will fit perfectly for a liquid cooling system that'll fit right here. Now, what's going to happen is it's going to cool down these coils right here, right, all through here, and this is going to freeze. We're not freeze, we're going to keep it nice and cool. We're going to submerge this into the vegetable oil. What this is going to do is we're going to actually run a CPU, two liquid cooling systems. One's going to run off the CPU, and the other one's going to run off the modified cooling system, which is like dropping in reverse. If you had something that could freeze water, and it was like ice cold and you're dropping in water, the water temperature changes dramatically. This is the same thing what this is going to do. With that liquid cooling system, modified fan system, drop that in. This copper is going to cool down. It's going to hit this, drop that into that vegetable oil. It's going to bring the temperature down. I guarantee you. That's what one of the things I'm researching right now. You start figuring out different ways how to cool your machine. And the one thing about vegetable oil, it's a beautiful thing to look at. Oh, they're beautiful to look at. But the problem is there's no place for that heat to go. So you have to figure a way how to cancel out that heat. And that's one of the things I was thinking about designing. So, yeah, always somewhere trying to figure out some way to do something different. I like these better than those. These right here are a little bit more, a little more craziness with this. I don't like my chaos here. I need a little more chaos on my pink there. Right there. All right, let's get the big boy in the front. See what we have here. But yeah, so that's the idea I had for liquid cooling. So basically, when you have fans, fans are different. Fans actually push out heat where you redirect them, where you want them to go. You have to know how to channel heat the fans to draw air in, push air back out. You know what I mean? Like a kind of a vacuum and system intake, outtake. But the problem you have with that and fans is fans will also to cook your system. And why would they cook your system? Because fans actually all they do is just push out the air. Now, mind you, if you're in the summertime, you have an air conditioner unit, guess what? That's cool air being sucked in and cool air being sucked back out. Your PC is already heating up in there. So you're constantly pushing air over top those parts to keep it nice and cool. But in wintertime, where you got the heat on, now you're taking hot air out of your apartment or house. You're sucking it back into a system that's already having issues trying to cool down, and you're just pushing out that hot air. You're not fixing the solution, you're making it worse. So that's what I realized. I had this PC, not named after the serial killer. It was literally named Red Dragon, the PC. But it had a huge dragon on the side of it, and it was all done with red lights on the inside. And I had a temperature gauge in the front. I had six 120 millimeter fans, and at the bottom I had an intake fan that took air out of the case at 140. So I'm sitting there gaming on it, saying, "Oh, here's." I'm like, what the freak is that? I'm going to check my board, and you know the MSI motherboards are digital, and my temperature is freaking going through the roof. I'm like, what the heck? Like, I'm running all these fans in here. Why is my system overheating like this? So what I had to do was I had to take the system and put it up on top of the desk and open up the window a little bit and push my PC right near the window. And since I wouldn't freeze to death because it's cold outside, I took some plastic and I only taped it up to the back of it. Because, you know, if it's snowing or whatever, I'm going to pour it out, my PC will get jacked up. So that way the air can suck in from outside through my PC. And I just plastic wrap everything else so the air wasn't hitting me. That's literally how I had to run it. Yep. And when I watched that system temperature start dropping, that's when I said, oh, shoot. Why can't they make an air conditioner for PCs? And I looked it up and I found the liquid cooling system. I've been with them ever since. So it's like a refrigerator for your PC. So then you get into that thing about cooling and all that stuff. And then you get into the crazy modifications like, well, why can't I build my own radiator? Because then that'll pop up in your head. Next thing you know, you're being there building your own radiator because they got modifications for designing giant radiators. Of course, you know, if you're building giant radiators, you can't put that on a normal sized case. So guess what that means? Now you got to build your own cases because then it'll get to the point like, why the frick am I paying for a freaking case at the end of the day? I could build one of these because once you figure out the schematics of where all the parts go at, pretty much over and over again, you do it dozens of times, you can start building your own stuff. Now, if you're wondering where the motherboard goes on this one, because there's no motherboard case screws, this is a little different board. So the board I have, it's around 12 inches long. It's a big board. It's going to drop down quite a bit. So my pegs on my board come out about that far out. They miss the fan completely. The board sticks all the way out here about that far out. The graphic card comes all the way down to about down here. So it's designed to have a peg system that lets it stand out because I want to put a light show behind the back of it. Also have a nice fan that draws air away from the board, and the cooling system we have over here draws heat away from the the name of it for the minute, from the CPU. And we're going to put a light show that's going to go right here in the back, zigzag in the back, and it's going to ride around the board like this. And it's going to take off, and it's going to go around the board. It's going to put a cool peg system through there. The peg system is going to be invisible pegs because I want to give it the illusion that the board is actually floating off the surface. Make a level. You're like, what? That's insanity. That's crazy. Why not do crazy? Crazy's fun. Can't do normal. Normal's boring. Hey, we're going to use a clear peg system to make the board's floating off the whole entire system. It's going to be crazy. Crazy, I tell you, crazy. The madness. There we go. You have to go beyond the madness. Yeah, we need a blue. I gotta change that over too. Let's go over here and let's drop our stuff into our water bucket, water tank thing here. Our thingy majiggy here. Thingy majiggy. Here. Water bottle works perfect for that. Alright, so the water bottle. Just drop them in there with a little water. Put the top on and great way to wash out your brushes. There you go. I'm soaking it. Oh, we forgot a brush. Dangnammit. Yeah, so we're going to use a peg system so we can levitate the board. So it looks like it's actually floating. Kind of gives me kind of a steampunk vibe. We're definitely going to need a piping system through here, so yes, toilet paper rolls away. Alright, let's get this thing. See what we got going on here. Look at you. Oh, freaking giddy. It's a schoolgirl with a new dress. You're extra giddy, aren't you? You're extra giddy. I'm going to light this up in a few minutes. Show you the effect we get off of that. I'm going to light this sucker up. He's all giddy. Extra giddy. I see you over there, giddy boy. All giddy. Extra giddy. Here's the three that plug up this, right? Yep. So see the inside gives it a nice glow all the way through. Now mind you, the system where I'm have hooked up here is I'm actually putting in spotlights. We're going to wire spotlights in, blue spotlights. The blue spotlights are going to be hitting certain areas so they actually glow. They can be pointed in any direction. So I looked at a spotlight system. They run off USBs. We're going to run a nice USB hub in the base of this, which allows us to hook up multiple USBs that we need to power up. But yeah, we're going to have spotlights here. They're going to hit here, here, here in different areas. The LED lights pushing through. And then I have a beam of white light here for the billboard. And I like these because these have the light system on the side. Gives it kind of a nice look to it. But it's getting there. And this stuff, all it started off with just cardboard boxes. Oh yeah, so the piece I'm building for the post office is sick. It's actually a post box. I'm building a post box. I'm going to put a PC inside of it. And the back of it's going to have the peekaboo glass. And it's going to have wires, keyboard, mouse, the whole 9 yards. Yep. Also, too, I'm going to have a bunch of mail shoved in the front of it, closing the top of it. It's going to be pretty cool looking. So for those individuals at the end of the day that thought that, you know, you can try to... God, these guys are just super bent on anything that I do. They're just obsessed with it, man. I could be in here talking about cooking. They'll come in here crying about that. They're obsessed with everything I do. Sheesh. That's kind of pitiful. I did the thing called the daily walk and talk, you know, to get out and exercise and stuff like that. I thought it'd be pretty cool. We walk around and see parts of Allentown. And I had one of them stalking me. That's just so creepy. Yeah, anything I do, they cry about. But, you know, hey, see what it is. That's what haters do. But anyway, we're going to come back in probably tomorrow. Because right now, I'm still waiting for my stuff to get here. I'm waiting. I do back and forth. If we're still waiting for parts to get here, then we're doing this. And if we're basically working on a screen, then we're doing that. Because right now, I have the rest of my LED lights coming in. I got to finish my cloud system. I got the mats coming in to work on the floor. I got a couple of projectors pushing through. Yeah, and I got a launch date tomorrow. So, yeah, I got to go be at the post office tomorrow for some of the stuff we have now. already done. Somebody ordered gunmetal. All right, that being said, hope you enjoyed. Let me get it up and going. Now, this machine, like I said, it's going to be for that giant screen behind you, or behind this right here. That's what this is going to be for. It's going to be running a lot of software we're going to be using for interactive software and stuff like that, so we can play on this giant screen back and forth. So I can't wait for that. All right, gotta go, people. Hope you enjoyed. Of course, we thank our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ for blessing us with amazing technology, because for Him, none of this would ever be possible. Gotta go. Thank you all, and God bless.